Hi, Paul Higgins here. What I'm going to show you in this tutorial is how to create charts entering an anchorage. That could be a port, a harbor, or a marina. In this case, it's going to be a marina. So I'm going to show you an overview of what we're trying to do. I'm going to show you how to set up the directories to store the information. I'm going to show you how to create the HLGs. These are the files created by SAS Planet that describe an area, like the area of a chart. And we're going to take those HLGs and then we're going to create the chart using SAC to chart. And finally, we're going to display the charts on OpenCPM. Okay, I want to show you an overview of what we're trying to do here. So I'm going to go to SAS Planet. This is a map of Cuba. Right now I'm using the Google satellite map. And what we want to do is there's a place in here, we'll find it, called Marina Hemingway. It's right about here, right there. And we want to create charts so that we can safely sail in there. So, first off, you might want to make sure that you're using a good satellite chart here. If it's cloudy, pick a different one. So what we're going to do is we're going to change to a marine map. And again, you can use various marine maps like the sea maps or the Navionics marine maps, and that's what I'm going to use. So here's what it looks like. And what we're trying to do is create 3 charts shown by these outlines. By the way, this little stick is 10 kilometers long. It's just so I can judge how far out we want to make these charts. So the first one we want to make is this here one in here, a chart at zoom level 17, so we can sail right in here with a lot of confidence. Outside of that, we're going to create a shoreline chart, and it's going to be about 5 kilometers out. And so that when we get to about here, this here chart is going to be at zoom level 50. And out to 10 kilometers, we're going to have another chart here. It's called the overall chart. And it's going to be at zoom levels 10 to 12. So that's what we're trying to do. Now I want to show you how to set up the directories where we can store all this stuff. So if I go to my place where I store my stuff, it's a directory called SAC to chart charts. Right now I create a bunch of charts, so I go in this directory. I only got 3 entries here right now. If I take a look at this here, one checking into Veradero Maria, it has 2 subdirectories. One is called HLGs. This is where we're going to store the HLGs created by SAS Planet. And this is where we're going to store the charts in this other directory. So if we wanted to create one for Marina Hemingway, we come out here and create a new folder. And we'll call it checking into Marina Hemingway. Okay, checking into Marina Hemingway. Then what we have to do is go into that directory and create 2 subdirectories. It's going to be, the first one is going to be called HLGs. That's what we're going to store the HLGs. And the second one we're going to create is the one called charts. This is where we're going to store the actual charts, the MB tiles that we're going to create later on. Charts. Okay? So that's all there is to setting up the directory for checking into Marina Hemingway. Now what we're going to do is create the HLGs for our eventual charts. So the first HLG we want to create is that for the detailed chart. Second one would be for the coastline chart. And the third one for the overall chart. So to do that, I'm going to go back to SAS Planet here. And again, here's our little stick to that. If you want to know how I made that, go into the distance calculation and created a path from it so we can actually see it. So this is rid of that. This is 10 kilometers long, so we can make some judgments. So what we're going to do is zoom in onto Marina Hemingway here and create our first chart. And it's going to be made by going to Operations, Selection Managers, Polygon Selection, and we're simply going to make a polygon around the marina here, getting mostly shallow water. We'll do water to about there. And that is going to be our, put it up a bit. That's going to be our detailed HLG. So if we come back to this little window here, we click the apply button. This brings up the selection manager. The first thing we do is create a polygon for it so we can see it again. And then we store the HLG. We come to this here little diskette icon. We click it. Oh, we're in the right directory here, so I'm going to call this here HLG detailed. Detailed. And we're going to save it. Okay? So that's our first HLB. The next HLG is going to be the coastline one. Going back to Operations, Selection Manager, Polygon Selection, and we just go along the coastline as far as we want out here. And we go to about here. And then we go back up. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up about half of this stick, which is 10 kilometers. So we're going to come up about 5 kilometers. Just to have to be exact. And come back to here. And back to here. I don't want to straighten it up a bit. Make it look nice. Make it look even. Get rid of that point even on it. You can get rid of a point by clicking this delete point. We'll come in a little bit here. Try to make it even. Okay, that is going to be our coastline chart. So again, we come to this little window, click the apply button, brings up the selection manager, and create a polygon so we can see it. And then we store the HLG. And this one is going to be called coastline. And we save it. Get rid of the selection manager. So we got 2 of them. Now we want to do the overall HLG. Back to the Operations, Selection Manager, Polygon Selection. And we want to go right out to 10 kilometers here. We start over there. Go on to here. We'll go back up to there. We'll make it straight. Back where we start. Okay, there is our overall HLG, and the chart that we will make from is going to be a zoom levels 10 to 12. Okay? So we're going to finalize that. Make the HL or polygon plot, store the HLG, and we're going to call it overall. And that's it. So that's how we make all the 3 of the HLGs. Which one is the detailed one, the coastline one, and then the overall one. That's all there is to making the HLGs. Okay, now that we've created all those HLGs, we want to create the charts from them. I'm going to use Sack of Chart to do that. So we go to Sack of Chart, here it is. First thing we want to make sure is the SAS Planet options are correct. We got the right place for the SAS Planet location. We're going to invoke SAS Planet download. I'm not going to do any splits. If you want to do something, it's okay. We want to select the multi-map support. We're going to bypass confirming chart selection. And we're going to have 8 SAS planets selected. We go back to the main tab. And the first thing we want to do is make sure this is correct. I've already corrected it. We're in the right directory, the Marina Hemingway charts directory. If we weren't, we would use this to correct it. And up here in the polygon HLGs, it's also pointing to the correct place. So we just click this. And we select all our HLGs. And we press finished. And now what SAT2Chart is doing is going to ask you for what zoom levels and what maps you want in these. So the first one it's asking is for up here is the coastline. So the coastline is going to be at the zoom level 15. Now we have to select what map we want. We're going to select the satellite Google Maps and the Navionics Marine chart. Those are the two we're going to select. And we're not going to repeat these values, so we uncheck this repeat checkbox. Then we press OK. The next one it's asking us for is the detail. That's going to be at zoom level 17. And notice the maps are still the same here. We're selected properly. And we press OK. And finally it asked us for the overall. What is the zoom levels? That's going to be 10, 11, 12, and the maps are still okay. We press OK. So what SAT2Chart will do now, it has all the information to create the charts. It has 2 maps and it has 3 HLGs. So what it's going to do is bring up 6 copies of SAS Planet to process them. And I'm just going to turn off the video until that gets going. Okay, what it's done is brought up 6 copies of SAS Planet. They're all overlaid on top of one another here. Then SAT2Chart resized itself, brought up a little progress window to show what they're all doing. Right now they're all downloading. And you notice for every HLG here, there is an entry for Navionics and one for the satellite Google Map. The same with the rest of them. Then it's going to stop the video until that finish it. Okay, it finished. You go over here and do we check into Marina Hemingway directory, the charts, and you see there are 6 MB tiles. Those are our charts, and you can see all the zoom levels that we're selecting. So that is all to creating the chart with SAT2Chart. Okay, the final thing we want to do is display the charts on OpenCPN. So if I just go to OpenCPN here, this is displaying the chart, the CM93 chart right down here. So we're going to scan for more charts here. And you notice I put the checking into Marina's Hemingway charts directly in here so OpenCPN can use it. We'll scan for more charts here. Scan, so let's go over to where we're concerned about here. Somewhere around here is Marina Hemingway. Well, but where you'll see we got 6. Here's the first one. Here's the with the detailed chart using the Navionics map. So if we zoom in on it, we can see we got lots of detail here. If we change to the satellite chart, same thing, lots of detail. And if we zoom out a bit here, we can see the overall chart. This is what it looks like. That's with the Navionics. And this is what it looks like with the satellite GigaMesh. So that's all there is to looking at it on OpenCPN. Okay, I showed you how to set up the directories with the 2 subdirectories, the HLG and the charts. We created the HLGs for all three of them, the details and the coastline and the overall HLG. And then we use those HLGs to create the actual chart, who's in fact the chart. And we display them all OpenCPI. Thank you for watching.